The radio news is wild these days, guys. What's up? I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks for clicking on the Ham Radio Crash Course, your source for my opinion on radio news. So we got a banger that dropped. The FCC reminder, this is going to be important later, that communication equipment and services on the covered list pose an unacceptable risk to national security. The covered list is any item, electronics basically, that's determined to pose an unacceptable risk to the national security of the United States and its citizens. Okay, something about that technology, not good. They clarify a little bit, but we'll get into this a little bit more. Most of the equipment and the services are closely tied to the foreign adversaries like China, and it can allow the CCP to surveil Americans, disrupt communication networks, and otherwise threaten U.S. national security. Great. Okay, we understand a little bit more now. Devices that can mess with our communication and allow a foreign nation, an adversary, if you want to go that far, to get information on us, right? Well, if you scroll down, you'll see some familiar companies like Huawei, ZTE, and then, Hytera. Don't be confused. It says video surveillance and telecommunication equipment produced by Hytera Communications Corporation to the extent that is used for the purpose of public safety, security of government facilities, physical security surveillance of critical infrastructure, and other national security purposes. Right. So if you put a camera up at a business, let's say it's a government building, the hypothetical here is that that video feed could be picked up by China, for instance, and then they could use it for intelligence purposes, right? That's the way that I'm taking it. Nowhere does it mention ham radio, or two-way radios for that matter. And it goes even further. So this is a reminder list of equipment covered in the covered equipment list. This list is ongoing. They keep adding to it. Hytera was added in March 12th of 2021, and if you purchased a Hytera radio between then and now, then you picked up a radio that's not on this list, meaning it's not a threat to national security insofar as the FCC qualifies. Hytera US even went a step further in an announcement on their website, basically saying the report and order makes it clear that the vast majority of Hytera's product offerings is not covered equipment, meaning if you have a Hytera radio or you purchase a Hytera radio, you're probably fine. It doesn't include two-way radios. Now, there's a lot of people commenting on this. I saw one video out there that was talking about radios, and I think that might be a bridge too far. I don't think that's what the FCC is saying. And sometimes the FCC's language can be confusing with a lot of legalese. The fact that the covered report or the covered list is supposed to make you understand that that radio is bad is something that I think is lost sometimes. It would not be on the covered list, but there's probably more good radios and good equipment that shouldn't be on a list. It's easier to maintain a list of bad radios if that's a smaller sample size than, all the good ones, right? Anyway, not the point. By the way, if it's a good radio, wouldn't it be the one that has the FCC ID on it? If a Hytera radio doesn't have an FCC ID or telecommunications device, broadband device, whatever, if it doesn't have an FCC ID, then you could know, hey, the FCC doesn't think this is cool. Maybe they already have a way to do this. I don't know. But here's the thing. Okay. Now, let's put that aside. FCC is just saying, hey, we got this list. You should check it out and don't buy equipment that kind of meets these standards. So what was it? Broadband, public safety, telecommunications, and like video equipment, that kind of thing, right? So two-way radios for you, ham radio operator, probably fine. But the rabbit hole of Hytera goes a little bit further in the United States. You see, Motorola, and this is on Motorola's website, I'll post links in the video description, but Motorola has had a long battle with Hytera, and they've won many times, in fact. The court ordered in the past year, September 2nd, that's pretty recent, isn't it, that Hytera pay $70 million in unpaid royalties, meaning there was already a ruling in place, to Motorola Solutions for the stealing, basically, of their trade secrets. And they break it down in a couple of different bullet points. Hytera publicly claimed that their H-series radios was designed from the ground up, yet that is not true. Hytera left several Motorola trade secrets in place. Many of the changes Hytera did make were merely cosmetic. So Chinese company Hytera steals trade secrets from from Motorola, repackages it, names it the H series, and then sells it in the United States. Now, what makes this an interesting story is because this is actually a Chinese company stealing trade secrets from a company that has no problem going to bat, and the long line of updates that we've gotten along the way. The website actually goes through all of it. So starting in 2020, the jury found in favor of Motorola Solutions, and there is a balance that's owed to the tune of $370 million, not including copyright, which is still being finalized. Hytera has paid Motorola Solutions over $175 million in judgment and royalty payments to date. And it just keeps going. In 2023, there was a contempt of court for failing to make court-ordered royalty payments related to the 2020 litigation. In 2024, the district court held Hytera in contempt for failing to comply with court orders, imposed contempt sanctions against Hytera, and included a worldwide injunction of sales and distribution of Hytera's two-way radios. In 2024, the Court of Appeals, you can see it just keeps going and going and going. I'm not going to read all of this. It's literally pages here. I'll drop the link again in the video description. And if you thought this was just company against company beef, no, it's not. The government's criminal proceedings against Hytera. The U.S. government filed criminal felony charges against Hytera and 7 of its employees, including the former executive. The federal grand jury indictment included 21 counts of federal criminal trade secrets violation, including engaging in a decade-long criminal conspiracy to steal and use Motorola Solutions trade secrets. In 2022, Mr. Koch pleaded guilty and is awaiting sentencing. The other 6 Hytera employees are currently fugitives from the U.S., I guess, because, whatever, they stole it and ran. In 2025, Hytera pled guilty to felony conspiracy to steal Motorola Solutions trade secrets, making Hytera a convicted felon. Hytera is expected to be sentenced in November 2025, at which time the U.S. District Court will determine whether and what amount Hytera owns in restitution to Motorola Solutions and whether to order Hytera to pay a criminal fine to the U.S. government. Apparently, there's a link here, too, to a newsroom, which I have not actually opened before. Oh my gosh, it goes on so long. Like I said, I will drop. Oh, there's multiple. Oh, there's exhibits? Oh, radios. Yeah, there's your patent infringement. Textbook patent infringement. Ooh, we got a flow chart. I love it. Are there multiple floor requests with the same high priority? Exhibit 5, more patents. This is an example of, hey, Hytera is not that great of a company. Now, I get it. I don't know what's actually all the details here, but it seems pretty clear that the U.S. has said, hey, Hytera, you're actually kind of bad with the stealing of trade secrets of Motorola. And considering that Motorola is an American company, and so many people complain all the time that there aren't enough amateur radio companies in the U.S., I appreciate Motorola is not really an amateur radio company, but you can't tell that to hams who wear $5,000 Motorola's on their belts. Regardless, it doesn't really matter in this case whether some of Hytera's equipment is on the list or not on the list. Hytera is not a great company, and they're stealing trade secrets from the U.S. or have in the past, and the U.S. has been pursuing them to try and give restitution to Motorola, which is a company that, hey, pretty important to the United States. So maybe everybody pump the brakes a little bit. Some of this stuff may in fact not be okay to use in our country, should be on this covered list, but also take the links in the video description, have a fun little read. It was way surprising. Like, I had known about the Motorola v. Hytera situation, that Hytera owed Motorola a lot of money and continues to owe them. I didn't know there were civil penalties involved in this, as well as how deep the rabbit hole really goes there. But at the same time, am I surprised? We hear all the time in the news that there is a number of trade secrets that are stolen by China. And this is one company in Motorola that said, hey, I'm unwilling to stand for this, and has tried their hardest to get, some restitution. While I was recording this video off camera here, the producer wife said, what is their actual recompense here? Or what can Motorola actually do if they just refuse to pay? That's a fantastic question. At some point, the country, the United States, has to say, hey, you guys are jerks. We can't allow these radios in this country because you literally have hundreds of millions of dollars outstanding that you owe to an American company that supports, at least through sale, all of our first responders. Every one of them has a Motorola radio on their belt, right? So it's a really interesting backstory there that I am not fully enough immersed in, but you could be. So take the links in the video description and then sound off in the comments with your thoughts. Would it be that bad if the United States just banned all of Hytera radios? And then what happens if we just ordered them direct through China? How would anyone know? All questions I would like to hear from you in the comments below. I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you later. 73.